I want to bring in now our friend Sunny Slaughter. She is a law enforcement expert, very familiar with this case, someone who has followed it from the very beginning. And she was joining us earlier on opening statements. We were having this very important discussion about the witnesses in the witness box and what way they'll be facing and all of that. And Sunny, I was saying to you, for anybody who missed opening statements, I was saying you've been in a lot of courtrooms as a consultant, as an affiant. Have you ever seen a jury box that way and the way that it's positioned? You were saying you haven't. I got a tweet from one of our other regular guests on Court TV, attorney Wendy Murphy, who practices in that county, in that courthouse. And I thought this was interesting. She saw the segment and she said, I know that courtroom. No juror ever sits behind the witness in the way the defense angle is suggesting. Keep in mind, the more motions the defense team files, the more we can infer that they're expecting a conviction because they're anticipating an appeal and they're trying to raise as many issues as possible. So I thought that was interesting, that because I said to you, I'm thinking, how has no one raised this as a problem before, right? Sunny, what do you think? Wendy, professor, lawyer in this county, saying that it wouldn't be from the viewpoints they're showing going behind the witness's head like that one there. Your thoughts, Sunny?
Is, first of all, an excellent person to ask because she has firsthand knowledge, and she's also a major proponent of Constitution on the air with her. And I think what she is saying then really gives credence to what has been happening in this courtroom, because although I believe that if the jury can't see the person, then that is problematic. If I saw where a few people have raised it before, and now Wendy connects the dots for me in saying that, okay, they want to reserve their rights for appeal. That makes sense, and that she can actually see, you know, the jury will have a better view than what we were thinking. So that gives me like a pause and saying, whoa, thank goodness, because I can't imagine how many cases they would have to go over and over again, because people say, wait a minute, that's problematic. So I'm glad she was able to weigh in with her expertise and her exact knowledge.
Right, Sunny, right. Who better than someone who's in this courtroom practicing there to know? And I made the point earlier, if anybody would be concerned, I would think the state would be as well. I couldn't see any opposition to this. I mean, nobody's going to want the jurors staring at the back of the heads of the witnesses. Quite frankly, that's absurd. So, you know, let's all make sure it's squared away. And I would think this is a very good judge. We've seen her being very fair and very meticulous. I'm sure she's going to correct it. And whenever that sidebar is broken up and we can hear a little more of what's going on in the courtroom, we'll go in there. Sunny, let's talk a little bit about the third-party culprit defense, because we know this is going beyond somebody else did this. This isn't just someone else did this, I'm not responsible. This is where a defendant is saying, I'm a victim here. Not only was it not me, but it was this person or that person or both of them or all three of them, all of that. So let's take a look at what the judge said to the defense team when they were in her courtroom a little over a week ago.
Mr. Yannetti, are you pursuing a third-party culprit defense?
We are, Your Honor, and I'm prepared to address that. The Commonwealth has raised the issue, and I am prepared to address that today.
So you filed your motions first, and you did not raise it. So if the Commonwealth had not raised it, you did not move to introduce it, correct? I have no motion from
No, I understand.
I
understand, Your Honor. If you'd like something in writing for us, we can do that. I have a full argument prepared.
All right, so who is the third-party culprit?
We are under no obligation to name any specific third-party culprit.
But if you have the third-party culprit, why wouldn't you say it? Sunny, your thoughts on this?
I agree. I mean, if you were ready, if they already had the argument written out first, if they're preserving all of their constitutional rights on everything else, why didn't they submit the motion? That was a question for me. She has every right, Karen Read has every right to do whatever she needs to do to protect herself if she is saying that she is not guilty, which she has clearly stated, and her attorneys are clearly, you know, saying that she is not. However, when the attorney had the opportunity And if you said that you're already ready, why don't you just say who it is? Like, name the names. Let's get to it. Let's get through it, and let's see what we're coming up with. But so I'm wondering if they really are prepared, because I know they might not have a duty to announce, but why not? There's a lot of problems and controversy around this case, and I think it would have squelched some of the noise, even though they don't have to put out their information first. If you've got it, just bring it on.
Right, Sunny. Well, this was a whole mission to get the word out, spread the word that there's a cover-up. You know, when I initially heard about this case, I was hearing people screaming cover up, and it's like, oh, okay, so what's the cover-up? What is it? You're saying that all these people, police in the house, non-police party attendees, first responders, the district attorney's office, the grand jury members, all the people on the grand jury who heard from over 40 witnesses and up to the charges against this lady, everybody's in on this? Come on. This is really just, it's something. It was very, I think, disappointing, and I heard that from a lot of viewers watching, and it's like, well, who is it? Say it. If you here's your chance. The judge is giving you the opportunity. Say it. So I guess we'll have to wait to trial to really hear it. Sunny, here's what we're going to do. We're watching the courtroom. We're trying to see what's going on with that hearing. We're going to hit our first break. You're going to stay with us. We're going to do some more analysis. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to Idaho as well, because we've got day 8 of testimony picking up soon in the case against this guy, defendant Chad Daybell. We'll be right back.
We are underway in the trial of doomsday prophet Chad Daybell.
Prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty against him.
Investigators have recovered human remains at Chad Daybell's residence.
There's no way, Logan, I should never come up with this.
His wife, Lori Vallow Daybell, has already been convicted.
Now, will her husband end up with the same fate?
It's just so hard to know where the truth ends.
It's the doomsday prophet, Chad Daybell, on trial.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. We're getting ready for day 8 of the Doomsday Prophet murder trial. While we wait for the judge to take the bench and the witnesses to get in the box and the jury members in their box, we're going to share with you some highlights from Friday's testimony. So let's kind of remind you where we were in the testimony with the special agent going over those text messages. Let's take a look at a recap from Friday in the trial.
Now, prior to November 23rd, did you have any phone conversations with Lori Vallow giving you a warning that Chad was going to call you?
No.
But when Chad spoke with you at that time, he did tell you that Lori was going to get a hold of you afterwards, right?
Correct.
Isn't it true that on November 25th of 2019, Chad Daybell contacted you and specifically asked you, where is JJ Vallow?
No,
And then after that, did Lori contact you?
she did.
And what was the discussion, Miss Gibb?
She told me that the police had come asking for JJ, and that she had told them that I had JJ and that I needed to go to a movie called Frozen, take some pictures.
And at that point, you told them that you had JJ Vallow, didn't you?
Not initially, but by the end of the day, yes.
And then at some point yesterday, you testified that without talking to any law enforcement, you then took it upon yourself to record the conversation between you and Lori, correct?
Correct.
Isn't it true that Lori was being very vague on that phone call because Chad was there and she didn't want Chad to know that you were going to talk about the murder of JJ Vallow?
I have no idea what her agenda was.
And it's your testimony that prior to meeting Lori Vallow, you never engaged in castings. Is that right?
Right.
Physical violence to anyone was never part of the solution there, right?
Correct.
The solution was to engage in castings and pray to have evil spirits leave the body of the people you believe are possessed.
Correct.
Death was never in the equation for castings. Is that right?
I guess they eventually said that they would pass on if the evil spirits would leave.
Who was
was it that would label someone dark or a zombie again?
Chad.
And once someone was labeled a zombie or dark, what was going to happen to their body?
If they could cast the evil spirit out, the body would naturally die.
And JJ was labeled dark or a zombie?
Yes.
Tammy was labeled dark or a zombie?
Yes.
Charles was labeled dark or a zombie?
Yes.
And Tylee was labeled dark or a zombie?
Yes.
There were a couple of things that I think are significant in this message. Is this line where Chad Daybell says, "I feel she will be gone by then."
Who did you believe the her to be?
Tammy Daybell.
Was there something about this that caught your attention?
There are two things about this communication that caught my attention. The first is the reference to joining Chad Daybell in the shower. They were physically, Lori Vallow was in Arizona, Chad Daybell was in Idaho at the time of this message. So Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell having the ability to connect on a spiritual plane and be together spiritually. So this is just one example of that. It could be easily confused that they were actually physically present together, which they were not. The next thing is the last line of Chad Daybell's text to Lori Vallow, where he says, he loves her so immensely that the whole universe knows it, and very soon the people on this little blue globe will know it too, which demonstrates that their relationship was clandestine or secret at this point, and that at some future date, the relationship between Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow would be divulged by Chad Daybell.
Boy, oh boy, this is some sick stuff, isn't it? And that special agent you saw in that recap, Special Agent Douglas Hart, is going to be back on the stand in just a few minutes from now, continuing with his testimony and those text exchanges between Lori and Chad. It's just so sickening, isn't it? Yet it happened. Yet it happened. And 3 people are dead. Will they get justice? That's the question. Let me bring back in our wonderful guest, a law enforcement expert, Sonny Slaughter, on the program this morning with us. Sonny, your thoughts on that? Do you think that Tammy, JJ, and Tylee are going to get justice at the end of this trial?
Yes, I do. At least I hope they do. It is so important for all of us to recognize who the victims really are in this case and how this all played out for such a very long time. You know, you see a lot of cult activity, and this what this appears to be. I see it a lot in human trafficking cases and exploitation cases. And these are 3 innocent victims who lost their life because these sickos really wanted to prey on them and connect religion and faith with these sick demonic thoughts and demons that they have within themselves. I pray every day for the family members that are still left that have to continue to endure this nightmare of a case in which both of these individuals, and I will say this out loud, Chad and Lori are guilty of the most heinous crimes that we could ever think of. And Lori, as a mom, I just cannot even fathom almost talking about her, thinking about her in any positive way.
Isn't that the truth, Sonny? I know that all of our wonderful Cordies share those sentiments. It's just repulsive, the way that she's behaved. There's no remorse. She's on another planet. She really acts like that. I want to go back to some of Melanie Gibbs' testimony. And so here, you know, Lori Vallow, she birthed these 2 children, JJ and Tylee. And here you're going to hear her talking to Melanie Gibb about how they've become dark spirits. Let's watch.
Did Lori talk to you about JJ while you were there?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
She told me that the day before I arrived that he became dark.
So previously she'd told you Tylee was dark.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
And now JJ was dark.
Correct.
Sonny, they're her spawn. They're her spawn. This is ludicrous, isn't it? I know you've seen a lot over the years. I know you have. This is just, it takes the cake, doesn't it?
I mean, yes. What was, I think she was so self-absorbed and wanted this man so much. There are some women who put themselves and another man over their children, and I think that's what she did. These were her children. Like as you said, they were her children. They came from her. So what does that say about her and who she is, that she could think this way about her children? The cases that we cover where moms act like this and even worse, I mean, you just have to wonder what kind of evil is deep within them. Who are these people? She is filthy. That's what I feel about her. She's a filthy, filthy person.
She is. You're right, Sonny. Amen. She is filthy, despicable, sorry excuse for a human being. It's like not even human. I mean, who behaves? This is a mother who birthed those kids. And then to say, oh, they've become dark spirits, and so here's what we're going to do with them. After that, we're just going to kill them. That's what we're going to do. I mean, it is horrific in the way she has no remorse. I mean, to say, oh, they're happy. And when she talked, in the courtroom about, oh, I have conversations with them and they visit me and Tammy is good with me. Tammy's good with you? Really? She is the wife of the man you had the affair with and murdered, Lori? Really? Oh my gosh, Sonny, I could go on and on. We've got to get to a break. We're going to rant some more together after this. Thank you, my friend. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit a break because we know the jury's supposed to be back roughly 10:30.